Welcome to another edition of SAT TV News. We are happy that you could have joined us. I am Alicia George. In the headlines, another young man may be victim of police brutality. Local doctor advises that persons refrain from discrimination of African students amidst Ebola outbreak. From the region, former Haitian president placed under house arrest on corruption charges. And internationally, 4 jailed in South Africa murder plot. In sports, Dubla FC go in search of 4th win. Details of these and other stories will follow. Welcome back. The family of a Woodford Hill man is calling on the relevant authorities to fully investigate an incident where their son was allegedly beaten. Mary JAVIS of Woodford Hill said on September 5th her son Caleb JAVIS was allegedly beaten by a police officer outside of a disco in that community.
On Saturday after 2, I got a phone call from the hospital saying that my son was at the hospital. He came there beaten and the police brought him in, but nobody did not tell me who beat him unless I went to the hospital.
JAVIS said she is hoping for justice in this incident so police officers get the message that they are not above the law. Meanwhile, the victim's father, Caleb Serafin, reiterated the call for justice in this matter.
Now, I'm very much concerned about what happened with the beating of my son by another police officer. I really don't know all the details at hand, but I'm trying to get to the end of this. I have asked Mr. Bianzin to represent us on that matter. So I think he'll be doing what is right to bring justice to my son.
The alleged beaten victim, Caleb JAVIS, says he is in a lot of pain since the incident.
My name is Caleb JAVIS, and I've been beaten by a police officer, been to the cells, been beaten again, and they locked me up in the cell. Right now I can see only through one eye, not through the other, and I'm seeing severe pains, very difficult for me to do certain things. It's not easy, but I'm looking for justice and I don't know what else to do.
According to JAVIS's attorney, Tiani B. Hansen, following the incident, his client was charged with resisting arrest, battery on a police officer, malicious damage, and wounding a police officer. He was granted station bail in the amount of $5,000 and is expected to appear in court in a week's time. Efforts to contact Police Public Relations Officer ASP Claude Wicks proved futile. However, SAT TV will provide an update as soon as more information becomes available. Amidst the Ministry of Health's efforts to prevent the Ebola epidemic currently in West Africa from reaching our shores, one local doctor is advising the public not to discriminate against African students engaged in medical school on the island. General Surgeon Dr. Sam Christian says the Ministry of Health's approach to screen the African students rather than ban them is commendable. However, we must be very careful with the treatment of the students.
If we are narrow-minded in our thoughts and think it's just African, there could be a missionary who was in Africa, for example, maybe an American missionary, for example, who went out there and did good and did God's work, but maybe carrying the Ebola virus. But because they are white, they are not screened, and they end up bringing the virus into our island. And so we are going to take very rigorous screening methods, both on the level of the government and the immigration authorities, but certainly on the level of the universities, Ross University, All Saints University, and myself as urgent care. Since we are seeing people who are acutely ill without an appointment, we want to know if someone comes in and they have any kind of funny business going on, that we will recognize it early.
He said the public should not overinterpret the threat of Ebola virus reaching our shores, as the chances of someone with the virus traveling to Dominica is less than likely. Dr. Christian explained the virus is not solely spread by African students, as doctors, business persons, missionaries, experts, and/or tourists visiting Africa can contract the virus.
We have to be very careful, and I think that as long as we begin to recognize that no one can carry Ebola virus unless they are symptomatic. Ebola virus, the previous name was hemorrhagic fever. So the main thing about Ebola virus is fever. everybody with a fever who is coming from a foreign country has to be screened, whether black, white, African, or anything like that. And we have to have the tools. They are simple, straightforward tools like that infrared non-contact thermometer that I can take and just point at your forehead, which we have available here at Urgent Care, to screen for people with viruses. From the moment there's any sign that the person is having additional symptoms, and we have to go, full-scale isolation.
He said all medical personnel dealing with Ebola patients wear a full protective suit, as any fluid from the patient which comes in contact with another is confirmed to lead to the spread of the virus. Rehabilitation works is expected to begin in the village of Despor after Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit presented a check to the village council for the complete rehabilitation of the Despor main road. The Prime Minister presented a check of $325,000 to the chairman of the Campbell Despor Village Council at a short ceremony in Despor on Tuesday. In his address, the PM told the residents that the anticipated improvements to the road will reap major economic benefits for that area.
There'll be many people who will get employed in here. But also in terms of when you improve the roads, the buses will no longer put you down up on the hill. They will come right down here, and other people will come into this part to see what we have to offer, to buy our agricultural produce, to visit us here.
The village council is responsible for managing that project. Meanwhile, parliamentary representative for the Maho constituency, which includes Despor, and Minister for Public Works, Energy and Ports, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, said the handing over of the check is another promise made and kept by the Dominica Labour Party administration.
In the Labour Party, as I've heard from the Prime Minister, as you have seen by our manifestation, that we always keep our promise. Isn't that so? That's right. And today is a practical expression of that. And I want to give you the assurance that we have more to receive from the Labour Party.
The Campbell Despor Village Council is expected to engage a contractor for the urgent rehabilitation and improvement of 1 kilometer of the Despor main road, which intersects with St. Vinia. The work includes construction of 1,500 feet of tarish fiber mesh, reinforced rigid pavement measuring 16 feet wide and 5 inches thick. There will also be construction of 1,500 feet of slipper drain BRC reinforced measuring 1.5 feet wide. There is also the requirement for limited earthworks. A Maho man is in a state of shock following the complete destruction of his home on Tuesday. At about 3:30 p.m., the house of Brent EUSEBE was totally gutted by fire. He is now homeless.
So I come there, I take a bath, I eat a macaroni and cheese, and I live there and I go. While I approach in Roseau, I get in a phone call, look, my house on fire.
The wooden structure was totally destroyed by the fire, leaving the fire and ambulance personnel to only extinguish the smoldering pieces of the wooden structure. An investigation is expected to be launched to determine the cause of the fire. When we return, see what the Leo Club does for a preschool in Roseau. The Leo Club of Dominica on Wednesday donated several school supplies to the Oridan Academy preschool in Roseau. Shari Joseph, president of the Dominica Leo Club, said each year the club, a non-profit organization, donates school supplies to at least one preschool on the island.
Seeing that we are celebrating 20 years of existence in Dominica, we chose a Roseau school because last year we did Portsmouth, so we chose a Roseau preschool to donate some school supplies. So on behalf of the Leo Club of Dominica, I would like to donate the school supplies to the principal of the Oridan preschool.
Junior Tuse, member of the Lion Advisory Committee for the Dominica Leo Club, said the donation is part of the reason why the Leo Club was formed.
The Leo Club of Dominica has been in existence for the past 20 years. Some of our projects undertaken include donations to various preschool. Sometimes we feed the less fortunate or the destitute in our community. And one of our major projects, actually, I almost forgot, is the Junior Calypso Monarch, which we undertake every year, where young persons get a venue to display their talents and skills in song. So the Leo Club is basically a group of young persons helping young persons like yourself and the community at large.
Meanwhile, principal of the preschool, Oriana Seaman, was delighted by the donation.
On behalf of the students and staff of the Oridan Academy Preschool, I'd like to thank the Leo Club of Dominica for their contribution of school supplies to our school. It will go a long way and we are grateful for it.
The Oregon Academy Preschool was founded 5 years ago by Seaman. Fresh off a promotional tour in St. Martin and Anguilla, World Creole Music Festival WCMF promoter Leroy Waddick Charles is reporting overall success from the visits. Charles, along with events assistant at the Dominica Festivals Committee, DFC, Marva Williams, traveled to the island from September 3rd to the 7th as part of several tours geared at increasing an audience for the WCMF. During a press conference on Tuesday, Charles said feedback from the tour had been overwhelming.
We had the ability to do several full-length interviews, both on the Dutch and on the French side, on radio, on television, and in newspaper. We also had the opportunity to meet several Dominican who owned special enterprises in St. Martin, because what we try to do when we move to those promotional tours is to meet the people on the ground.
The tour also took the team to Anguilla for the first time, where they promoted the festival on a similar scale.
And there were 2 main radio stations in Anguilla, and once again the response is overwhelming. We have lots of Dominicans residing in Anguilla, and they have endorsed the lineup most of all, and we can expect the multitudes to transcend down for the independence celebrations and most of all the World Creole Music Festivals.
Charles revealed that Windward Island Airways International, WinAir, has committed to providing patrons of the festival with additional flights to Dominica.
And we have forged relationships with WinAir, and we had the ability to speak to the management of WinAir, and they have at least special fares as we speak, cheapest around less than $300 to Dominica return, and they have also embarked on a fare from Guadeloupe to Dominica, which is very comfortable, and it is also very competitive with the available fare from boat to Dominica.
According to the promoter, as long as the scheduled flights are booked, WinAir further committed to increasing air access to Dominica. Meanwhile, event assistant at the DFC, Marva Williams, announced the launch of an on-air ticket promotion where festival goers have a chance to win season as well as nightly tickets to the WCMF. The promotion, which officially launched on Tuesday, will be aired on all 3 radio stations across the island.
The contest will take a special format. We wanted to listen for Waddick's voice via a jingle, and the Mexicano will form part of that jingle. So patrons, listen attentively. Every time you hear that jingle with the Mexicano on the radio stations, then put your alert cap on. It's an opportunity to win tickets to the World Creole Music Festival.
The team will continue to promote regional integration of the festival when they travel to the French Antilles, Antigua, St. Lucia, and Trinidad and Tobago later this month. The name of another major act for the World Creole Music Festival WCMF lineup is expected to be announced later this week. WCMF promoter Leroy Waddick Charles made the announcement during a press conference on Tuesday. According to Charles, the unnamed artist is particularly suited for the younger generation.
We try to give a balanced lineup every year, and it was felt that we needed a particular artist to excite the younger generation. So the artist we'll be looking forward to is sort of in the realm to satisfy and to excite and to entice the younger generation.
Elvis Crespo, Jack Hure, Flavor Band, Destra and the Band, Kerwin Dubois, Taboo Combo, and Midnight Groovers are just some of the acts included in the WCMF 2014 lineup. The final lineup is expected to be announced next week. This has been the local segment of the news.